And AK, you've been out here today walking the stadium, walking the parking lots, and you're Southern California, you're used to a lot of activity in this area, and a lot of the kids are also driven to join DCI units as well, so they're year-round marching band freaks. We're new to a lot of this game, but your presence here really helps me understand that it's getting busier here.
It's definitely getting busy here. You know, just compared to last year, just a lot of groups here. A couple of groups from Southern California. Mission Viejo High School came out here today, and Trabuco Hills is coming up, which are from my neck of the woods. And just really great to see that, you know, overall we're getting a lot of support from different areas, even outside of the state of Arizona. And it's a lot of fun to see these groups here. A lot of real talented kids here today, and talented instructors as well.
There's one thing about living out west that you got to get used to. I went on a tour for about 25 years with a group called Empire Brass, and you know, and when you get out west, you start meeting people that don't think anything of driving 8, 10, 12 hours to go see a show. And in the east, we would never think of doing something like that. That's like you'd have to plan it for a month to drive 10 hours. And so Trabuco Hills, it's like, you know, they got on their buses and they brought their truck, and that's got to be a good 7-hour trip, right, to come over here to compete. That's just one way. And we also have Rancho Verde and Mission Viejo making this trip. It's a long way to come to a competition. We're very honored that California bands make the trip. That's something else. Really exciting. We're in a wonderful acoustic to watch music. You've been in different parts of the stadium. Great place to hear music, Sun Devil Stadium. Who knew?
Fantastic place. Yeah, I've gotten a chance to hear it from just about every level at this point, and it's a heck of a lot of fun. The judges are up kind of on the second level here, and I've been sitting with them for the last couple hours, and it just, even as high up as they are, it's just a fantastic stadium to hear everything that's going on with these groups. It's so well built.
That's awesome. It's really fun to watch marching band competition here. This is one of the rare stadiums where they can move good sound systems in here. I've heard Tower of Power here. I've heard the Rolling Stones here. I've seen Garth Brooks here, and it always works. You know, it's who knew this was a venue for music, but it sure works for us. President Obama was here doing our commencement in this stadium a while back, and this is a very hallowed hall here for us at Arizona State University. And AK, I got to tell you, it's like, you know, when I came here 18 years ago, this band day had a whole different shape and structure. One of the biggest differences, if you think back 18 years, percussion has evolved a long, long way. There were no front ensembles to see, you know, and they started to grow, you know, as the years went on. That's a lot of different pieces of equipment that have found their way into the shows.
It is a lot of pieces of equipment, and it's added, you know, some new elements. A lot of the schools that are here today pulled up with, you know, big 18-wheel semi-trucks to unload all these different pieces of equipment. And, you know, particularly in the front ensemble, those front ensembles have grown a lot over the last number of years. And it's really great because it provides an ability for a lot of these kids to get a very well-rounded view of percussion, rather than just the battery side, the whole melodic side, as well as a lot of the auxiliary percussion and timpani. It's really a fantastic element to have been added to these shows.
That's very very astute comment. You know, thinking about how it's changed the sound of who we are out there, what we can present. A lot of the great masters in classical music are presented today. There's Broadway presented today. There's rock and roll. And a lot of that is because of the colors that have been brought to bear here that we're able to present to the public via percussion sounds, which is in music the most exciting area. It's young, it's youthful, it's the frontier. So many composers know that. They go after it. So many designers of field music know that sound's going to be heard. We heard handbell choir out here today. It worked. You know, we've heard so many interesting things. Crotales in your face. You know, it's like, I see the most unusual thing is tenor drums, like indoor tenor drums matching a small band. in the Mapex drums, we're working with woods to make more and more projection and darkness of tone happen outdoors, and you can hear it successfully presented out here in high school milieu, you know?
It definitely is, you know, and that's one of the things with Mapex that the designers have worked a lot on, particularly in the tenors, working with using different types of woods in the tenors, in particular the walnut plies that we use on the inner plies of the tenors, which just give a very unique sound to the tenors. It really helps them sing out there out on the field and helps them fit into the entire ensemble situation. Mm-hmm. In the bass drums, you know, we've done some specific things with the vent hole system, and we've gone to a graduated vent hole system, meaning if you picture a normal bass drum, it's got 1 or 2 holes in it to let the air escape.
Right.
Well, in our 32-inch bass drum, we have just a whole lot of holes in that drum to allow the air to escape evenly across the entire drum, and it creates a much bigger and much more even sound across the entire bass drum line. So that's a lot of the different innovation that Mapex is trying to do as far as the battery percussion. I mean, even in that world, while, you know, for the most part we're still using snares, bass drums, and tenors like we always have, there's been a lot of innovation there in the last 5 to 10 years as far as what we're doing to get the different timbres of drum that are out there marching on the field.
We have at Arizona State, and by the way, Arizona State Sun Devil Marching Band will be presenting tonight the finale for today's ASU Band Day, the 63rd edition, and the ASU performance is at 8:21 Pacific time tonight. During that show, we're always doing research at Arizona State, you know, and one of the great additions to things has been the 32-inch bass drum and this wonderful collection of bass drums and bass drummers. I mean, we have a wonderful battery, and we're going to meet one of the reasons why. Roberto Paz is going to come on pretty soon, and we're going to talk with him. But this idea of having a wonderful sounding bass drum section, that changes everything. We do a lot of work with mixed bores in the horns. So we'll have the 4-valve large bore sousaphone and the 3-valve Jupiter clarity horn, the real clear sousaphone. And we mix them between our 22 instruments, and all of a sudden I noticed they completely married the bass drums. And the bottom of our band changed permanently as soon as we did that. And it's we're getting combinations of sounds. We have 65 low brass players, not counting the sousaphones. I'm just talking baritones, euphoniums, and trombones. The tenor drums in walnut, they tend to be part of the sound of that octave. So the mixing of sounds in the Mapex woods and constructions in the bigger vent holes are putting more bottom and more baritone voice sounds out on the field and filling the place. And when you get to a number like 400, like we are, 400 plus, it's a wonderful marriage of percussion on the field and sounds. There are times when I feel like our battery's not big enough, and then I realize that's because the music is finally melting together. We're finally making a tootie. It's like, wait a minute, I'm not supposed to hear them right there. That's how successful the tone mix is. When we worked to get a balanced consort of sound in the quantum brass line, the whole idea was to get matched designs. And that's exactly what the Mapex side is doing too. So we'll see them tonight out on the field. And this whole idea of ensemble by design. It's not just a really good tenor drum and a really good bass drum. They were matched out in the first place. They were thought of to play together. And this is what the benefit is. You'll hear tonight. When we get out on the field and we're able to present music that's cohesive like that, it's an awesome feeling.
Well, and you know, that's one of the great things about the whole quantum line. You know, all the way from the front ensemble mallet percussion stuff through the battery, all the way into the horns. It was all designed with the entire idea of matching as an ensemble. You know, we're a little bit unique to the marching world in that quantum has not been around as long as some of the other folks. You're just getting into this, 3-4 years ago. But the product has been so well received by the folks that have had the chance and the opportunity to try it. Because when they get those horns in their hands or when they get those drums within the ensemble, they're just very surprised at how well everything matches each other and how great the ensemble sounds once they started to switch out some of these different pieces of equipment and get it within the different ranks of their band.
That's awesome. Now, as we're on a break right here, and we're about to go into Class 4A, and then 5A, and then finally to the ASU band. In other words, we're about to go into the final stretch here. They're repainting the field, and this is like, as I look at the field, it's actually held up really well for a natural grass field, and a whole lot of feet have been on here since about 40 bands worth since 8 o'clock this morning. So that's pretty awesome. AK, I can't thank you enough for coming on, talking percussion with us and sound, and thank you for making the trip over from California to see the ASU Band Day and visit us here in the Sun Devil Stadium. And it's a long way to come, but it's great to avail ourselves of your expertise.
It's well worth being here. I'll tell you, I've seen some amazing groups today, and I'm really looking forward to catching ASU at the end of the evening here, finishing off the night.
Talk to you soon.
Thank you very much.
AK Kist, District Sales Manager for Jupiter in our region here in the country.